For day 4 of Busweek New South Wales edition, we continue further south to Sydney and on to State Transit, an operator revered by many transport enthusiasts and commuters alike. Today's video also looks at one of my favourite State Transit buses, the Volgren CR228L bodied B12BLE, which is approaching Strathfield Station on a crisp February morning. Once on the move, it's interesting to notice how these buses compare to other State Transit and Volgren buses of the time. The State Transit B12BLEs were built in 2005, except for 1611, which was built at the end of 2004. Around the same time, the custom-bodied B12s were also being delivered, and I recently reviewed one of those from Newcastle Transport. If you compare this Volgren B12BLE to another Volgren product of the time, say the last of Brisbane's Scania L94UBs or their first of their new MAN 18310 CNGs, you can see that State Transit took a slightly different design approach. Other than the obvious lack of a gas pod, State Transit decided to go for bench seats inside and separately framed windows, which makes it easier to swap out glass. The stop bell, however, is the Volgren affair, and the stop light has been mounted in a really awkward location. I believe that these are fitted with the same Euro 3 engines as the Newcastle Custom CB60 I reviewed recently. WA Transit Videos, who is a wizard with obscure figures that are quite hard to search for, notes that the CB60s that I reviewed a few weeks back offered 340 horsepower, but were electronically limited to 1200 Nm of torque. My guess here though is that judging by the early 2005 timeline that WA Transit Videos noted, these might have the full 1700 Nm of torque and the 6-speed gearbox. Either way, let's have a listen now. As we continue towards Parramatta, it's interesting to note I think these Volgren buses have actually aged better than their custom coaches counterparts. These are around the same age as the Newcastle CB60s I reviewed, and very similar CB60s were being delivered brand new in Sydney as late as 2007. $16.45, which was the one that I caught, was in really good condition, and that makes a huge difference. I would say this bus was probably as tidy inside as some of the newer CB80s, like this Volvo B8RLE, heading back to Strathfield. Sydney's buses are often known for being a little bit grubby, and while their trains, light rail and ferries have been cleaned up over the years, I think a lot of their older buses missed out. Fortunately, this one has had some extra TLC. I guess it's now clear that I enjoyed my ride on board that Volgren B12BLE with State Transit. The B12BLE has enjoyed immense popularity in Australia, particularly in New South Wales and Queensland, where Bustech dominated 2-axle sales, and Brisbane Transport ordered some B12s of their own, with an extra axle thrown in for good measure, and bodied with a Volgren body as well. I'll check them out in more detail another time. So with that, we're making our way towards Parramatta, and it's time to finish up this review. Don't forget to press all the correct buttons down below and join me tomorrow for the final day of Busweek New South Wales edition.